Hello dear student, welcome to SCP class session 2. This is T. Jungnung, librarian KV Dirang. Today our topic is developing faith in our infinite possibilities within. We are going to learn how we can develop our faith or self-belief that we have infinite or uncountable number of possibilities within us. Our slogan for today's class will be I can. Each one of us carries within us a vast infinite source of power, strength and goodness. These strengths can be felt every time each of us says I can. Whenever we say I we can feel the strength or power we have in us. So let's say our slogan together. I can. Once again, I can. We call this I can Atma Shraddha. When we have self-confidence that I can do this, I can do that. That means we have Atma Shraddha. So in class 8 or year 2, we have already learned 4 ways to develop this Atma Shraddha that leads to increase self-confidence that I can. Those 4 ways to develop these Atma Shraddhas or I can are: number 1, openness to learning. Openness to learning means you can always learn new things anytime. The second number is continuously improving in whatever we do. Right? I can always improve my handwriting, or I can always improve my mathematics skill if I want to. And the third one we have willingness to take up challenges. I can face and overcome any challenge. Whenever you come across any difficulties, solving difficult maths problem, you can always overcome these challenges by saying I can. And the last and fourth one we have taking up big goals and accomplishing them by saying I can accomplish big goals. If you believe in yourself, if you believe that you can do it, you can always accomplish big goals like become a scientist, become a famous personalities, or any other great personalities. So, how do we develop this I can attitude in everything we do in our life? A simple way to accelerate or speed up our journey of I can is by developing faith and belief in our infinite possibilities within us. How we can develop this I can attitude in everything we do in our life, we are going to explore in the next slide. In order to develop faith and belief in our infinite possibilities within us, we will now explore 3 important ways to think which will help each one of us recognize that I have infinite possibilities within. Here we have the first exploration, that is exploration number 1. Even if I have failed in the past, I can succeed in the future with the right effort. You may fail to do or achieve something you wanted in the past, but in future you always have a chance of success, or you can achieve whatever you want with the right effort or by following the right way. In exploration 1 we have the story of Ben Sounder. It goes like this. When Ben Saunders was 13, his teacher told him that he lacked motivation to achieve anything in life and that he was worthless. In his free time, Ben Saunders used to keep reading stories about various explorers and was inspired by them. He dreamed of going for an expedition to the North Pole. When he grew up, he got a chance to ski to the North Pole with an experienced explorer. But everything went wrong on that trip. They were attacked by polar bears, ran out of food, got frostbite, etc. They could not complete their journey. He repeatedly tried to complete this expedition but failed every time. His family also felt that his efforts were not going to pay off. But Saunders did not shut his possibilities. Instead, he learned from his past experience and kept improving his preparation for the next expedition. For example, he learned to use a shotgun to defend himself against polar bear. He got more advanced equipment and learned to use it. He did physical training with experts so that he could survive in tough conditions. He got an expert to change his diet. Then 3 years after the first failed expedition, he skied alone from Russia and reached the North Pole in 68 days. When Ben Saunders was only 13 years old, his teacher told him that you don't have any motivation to achieve anything in life, and you are worthless. You are good for nothing. That's what his teacher told to Ben Saunders. If you look at the question, at this stage, if your teacher told you that you lack motivation to achieve anything, what would you think? I want you to ask yourself this question again and again. If your teacher told you that you don't have any motivation to achieve anything, or you are good for nothing, what would you think? Will you be disappointed? Will you stop studying? Will you stop going to school? But Ben Saunders is not doing all those things. Instead, in his free time, Ben Saunders used to keep reading stories about various explorers and was inspired by them. Instead of doing all those things, Ben Saunders keeps on doing what he loved to do. He never gave up. When Ben Saunders grew up, he got a chance to ski to the North Pole with an experienced explorer. But everything went wrong in this trip. He never got success. They were attacked by polar bears, ran out of food, got frostbite, etc. They could not complete their journey. In this time, Ben Saunders felt he was a failure. His family also felt he did not stand a chance. His family also think that he will never be able to do all these things. So here the question is, at this stage, if your efforts were not working and if your family also discouraged you, what would you do? Think about this question and answer it by yourself. Let us see what Ben Saunders is doing after all this failure. After all this failure, Ben Saunders did not shut his possibilities. He never stopped trying. Instead, he learned from his past experience and kept improving his preparation for the next expedition. For example, He learned to use a shotgun to defend himself against polar bear. He got more advanced equipment and learned to use it. He did physical training with experts so that he could survive in tough conditions. He got an expert to change his diet. And now, after 3 years of the first failed expedition, Ben Sonder, he skied alone from Russia and reached the North Pole in 68 days. He is the first person to do this. It is a great success for Ben Sonder. So, what can you learn from this story? We have so many things to learn from Ben Sonder's story. I would like to ask you this question. What are the possibilities Ben Sonder awakened through this? There are some universal possibilities that Ben Sonder awakened through his journey. Please answer it by yourself. Then we have exploration 2. That is, there is no age limit for discovering my infinite possibilities and developing them. It is never too late to discover or find out what possibilities you have. Anytime you can discover your infinite possibilities. You can discover what you can do and develop or utilize them for achieving your goal. So let us learn from the story of Dada Sahib Phalke. Dada Sahib Phalke, the first year of his career, he started his career as a photographer but gave it up after a few years. He got an opportunity to work as a draftman for the Archaeological Survey of India, but he left this job as he was not happy with it. Then he started a printing business and spent time building it, but later, due to dispute with other partner, he gave up this business. The turning point is when he was 40 years old. He watched the silent movie The Life of Christ and was fascinated by it. He said, "I was gripped by a strange spell. I felt my imagination taking shape in the screen. Could this really happen? Could we, the son of India, ever be able to see Indian images on the screen?" The whole night passed in this mental agony. Dada Sahib Phalke, once he discovered his love for filmmaking, he thought about the first movie that he wanted to make and began the preparation for it. His decision to make movie was met with opposition. His family thought he was crazy and was wasting money, but the yearning to make a movie was burning in him, and he went ahead with his dream. He did many things to learn the art of filmmaking. Example, he read many books on filmmaking. He went to England to learn about film technology and get equipment. He tried making short film, etc. When he found it difficult to find a leading lady, he found a man to play the role. This was one of the ways in which he adjusts to the circumstance. He had the vision of recreating Indian mythological stories from Mahabharata, Ramayana, and bring them alive on screen. He spent his entire filmmaking career in realizing this vision. He experimented with new techniques in every film, continuously perfecting his art. Example, he set up miniature set for the destruction of Lanka. He used animation, superimposition, etc. These filmmaking techniques were unique in his time. He used his training in painting, acting, photography, writing, etc. to creatively express his vision on the screen. That's about the successful story of Dada Saheb Phalke. So this story is about Dada Saheb Phalke, who always changed his career until the age of 40 years. It took him 40 years to find out his passion in life. It took him 40 years to find out what he really wanted to do in his life. So here the question is, at what stage of his life did Dada Saheb Phalke discover his love for filmmaking? The next question is, how did the awakening of his possibilities multiply after he discovered his love for filmmaking? Which possibilities got awakened in him? Explain. Dada Saheb Phalke, after discovering his love for filmmaking, how did the possibilities in him multiply? How did he utilize his possibilities for his career? Then the next is, in each of these paragraphs, Dada Saheb Phalke utilized one of his possibilities. You have to identify those possibilities. These are the possibilities awakened by Dada Saheb Phalke to achieve or to attain his goal. In the first paragraph, he awakened being heroic. In the next, learning in all parts, and so on. So, in exploration 2, we have learned that there is no age limit for discovering my infinite possibilities and developing them. So, in the left hand side, I am not good in academics, nor do I have any other talent or interest or passion. Am I worthless? Instead of saying this, you can change it to, I can discover my talent and interest in the future. There is no age limit for discovering my genius within, so I can keep exploring until I find it. Now let's go to the next exploration. Exploration 3. Even if I don't have any unique possibilities, I still have by birth all universal possibilities within. Even though I don't have any unique possibilities like inventing new things, becoming a scientist, becoming a doctor, I still have all those 6 universal possibilities. I can use them for achieving my goal or anything I want to become. I can use them for making the world a better place. This exploration is about the story of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Here, 2 elders are talking about young Vallabhbhai Patel. The first person said, "This fellow has just managed to pass his matriculation examination. He is already 22. And the next person said, he may just get an ordinary job, that too only if he is lucky. But Vallabhai was developing in other areas. He was beginning to take a stand on issues, on what he thought was right and wrong. He stand ups against injustice. Example, when the social authorities acted unjustly against a student of his class, he got together all the students in the school to oppose this action. Being concerned for the people around. Example, on his way to school, he noticed how people were getting hurt because of a big stone on the road. He saw that people just walk past without caring or doing anything about it. So he moved the stone away himself. Sardar Vallabhai Patel. As he grew older, it was the development of this aspect of his personality that gave him the ability to lead, organize and unite Indians both before and after independence. For example, pained by the exploitation of the farmer of Kheda and Bardoli, he organized them, led them and gave them the courage to fight against the injustice. He gave up his own legal practice to work for them. In 1923, the British government banned raising of the Indian flag. Patel organized thousands of volunteers from all over the country to hoist the flag in procession. When India became independent in 1947, everyone thought it would disintegrate as there were 562 states, each with its own ruler. Sardar Patel led the task of integrating all these states and laid the foundation for a true democracy in India. It was his dream to see a united and strong India. The awakening of his universal possibilities that began as seed in his youth bloomed to become a rising fire that made him a great national leader. Being heroic, expanding himself, seeking truth and justice, Shraddha for India, our motherland, harmonizing the nation, seeking perfection as a leader. He became the first Home Minister and later Deputy Prime Minister of independent India. Here, two elders are talking about young Vallabhai Patel. One fellow said, this Sardar Vallabhai Patel passed his class 10 examination at the age of 22. And the other person said, it is very late for him. He may not get any job. Even though if he get a job, it would be an ordinary job. Vallabhai Patel, he passed his class 10 examination at the age of 22. Maybe he is not good in his studies, but he was developing in other areas, like taking a stand on issues like what he thought was right and what he thought was wrong, like standing up against injustice, being concerned and care for the people around him. Because of all these things, he became a great person, one of the greatest person in Indian history. So here the question is, what can you learn from this story? you can learn many things from his story. So Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, even though he don't have any unique possibilities, he still have by birth all universal possibilities within him. That's why he could achieve all those things. Likewise, you and me may not have any unique possibilities, but we still have by birth all universal possibilities within us. So, you should stop saying all those things like, I am not good at anything. No amount of effort seems to help. I am worthless. Instead of saying all these things or thinking about all these things, you can say, I have within me all universal possibilities which I can bring out with some effort. Moreover, this will also open out many of my unique possibilities. This is the summary of our today's class. We learn 3 important ways to think, which will help each one of us recognize that I am full of universal possibilities that I can bring out with effort, and I am capable of discovering my unique possibilities. Those 3 important ways to think are: even if I have failed in the past, I can succeed in the future with the right effort. There is no age limit for discovering my infinite possibilities and developing them. And even if I don't have any unique possibilities, I still have by birth all universal possibilities within. Thank you.